guys, and welcome to a first edition of a new series I'm looking at putting together for my YouTube channel, where I'm just going to do some playthroughs of some of my favourite games, and if this series proves to be a success, if it proves to be popular, I'll then start doing a series of playthroughs of some other games, some multi-part playthroughs as well. This is just something I just wanted to do as an added extra to my streaming channel on Twitch, because this YouTube channel has been terribly neglected. Because I'm only just uploading my VODs at the moment, but I think a couple of playthroughs of some games that I've not played on stream wouldn't be a bad idea. So we're going to make a start with one of my all-time favourites. And not just because I'm a big fan of the film either. Maybe. So we're going to take a look at Aliens, the arcade game. So, for those of you that may or may not be aware, I can do a one-credit clear of this. I even did it, I've done it the last 2 years when I visited the arcade club in Blackpool. So I've been able to I don't know, would you say flex, maybe? I don't know, but I know a couple of people were quite impressed with how well I was able to do a one-credit clear on this, so I thought, why not do it on here, because I mean, I've toyed with the idea of doing it on stream for a while, but I've just never done it, so I just thought, well, we'll just do it here as a good way to start off this this series of playthroughs on the YouTube channel. So we're at the end of the level now. There's a couple of facehuggers to deal with, and then just a question of dealing with this this boss. Quite straightforward to deal with. Just avoid his charges till he then get to his second phase. When he starts shooting projectiles, he starts shooting projectiles at you. But they're quite straightforward to avoid, because it's the same pattern every single time. It's not random or anything. And eventually he will bite the dust. So now I've got the first of 2 sections on the APC. There's a nice little feature that they included the APC in this. What I do find interesting though is when you look at variation versions of this game, this section isn't in the Japanese version of the game, which is quite interesting as to why the developers left it out. They included it in the Western release. So if anybody knows why, drop a comment and let us know as to why they did it. With our first section, because unfortunately we lost our powered up weapon, which is another difference in the Japanese version, because you actually hold on to it from level to level if you have one. But we're just going to make our way through these air vents. Nice little added touch there with the motion tracker just above as well. Because I'm picking up the flamethrower here because it is probably the best weapon in the game. Overpowered, maybe, but that's come in handy. Very easy for mowing down aliens. Anything else for that matter. Almost through the vent. Just got this little tricky part with the elevator. Because we're literally getting attacked from 3 different sides. So from the left, from the right, and from above. Because you will get aliens that will drop down and try and break those three cables that are holding the elevator. And if they manage to do that, the elevator will just come crashing down and you end up losing a life. Which we will hope to avoid. And the first couple of aliens there. Just to break it then. That's not good. We have to be extra careful now. We don't want them breaking any more. Let's deal with a couple more of these aliens here. And then we'll have some more aliens drop onto the top. Well, we're halfway through now. Not much further to go. We'll stop one more time. Deal with these. There'll be one more attack from above, and then we'll reach the bottom. Go. And we made it. We just carry on. Watch out for this host, because they will shoot chest piercers at you. Make our way up here to deal with those two. That's the sub-boss. We'll encounter him now in a little while. Keep forgetting about those droplets. Got the sub-boss to deal with. He's very straightforward. Literally just got to stay crouched and use crouching shots, because none of those blue projectiles will actually hurt you when you're crouched. Of course, when you shoot him, when he turns into that ball, he will bounce. If you're fortunate, he will bounce away from you, but then sometimes he will bounce towards you. So you have to be careful when you do that. Take that extra life. This bit's a little tricky with these enemies here, because they do actually shoot back at you. So you've got to be careful, just in case you get caught. Let's get to this little section here. Now we got the option here. We can either go across the top or across the bottom. But if you go across the top, you do have these spider-like enemies that will charge at you from in front of you and from behind. And if the ones from behind, they are quite quick, so it can be a little tricky in actually hitting them before they hit you. So it's safer just to go across the bottom here. And you just got these floating corpses. When I say corpses, they're hosts, because if you do get a little too close, they will eject a chest burster at you. So it is always something to be aware of. There we go, through there. We've got a little section where we can use the power loader, but I always prefer not to. Just because you don't move as fast, I find, with the power loader. And you do get attacked by that wrecking ball. So it does help to try and get through as quick as you can. Got these acid spitting ones as well. If you just crouch, you can avoid its attacks. That's just a weapon power up. We've already got that, so we don't need another one. just got to be careful coming through here because you do get aliens that come out of the floor. A couple more of these shooting ones. And then you also come across some impregnated people as well. And they do sometimes pop chest bursters out at you to attack. Sometimes they'll do it in front of you, but then they sometimes do it just as you're walking underneath them, like there. So you need to be a little careful when you're walking through there. Some more of these spider things again, and a couple of alien eggs, and they'll just constantly churn out facehuggers. So you can use those to farm points if you wanted. And now we've got the under-level boss. So if we just clear these aliens off here, they will dive at you if you take too long, so you can avoid them. And then we've got this thing. We'll do various attacks with his tentacles. Only the top two will actually shoot out at you. The bottom ones won't, they'll just move from side to side. So we just focus our fire just on the head, which also does spew out those sacks, I suppose. And they'll always shoot directly at you from where you're standing, so if you stand to one side and then move, it'll be a lot easier to avoid. And then when you reach this stage, it'll just shoot sacks at you from wherever position you are. So always go to either side, and then move to the middle, get a couple of shots, move back out wide, and just keep repeating until he is eventually bitten the dust. And that's that boss dealt with. Now we're back in the APC. This is exactly the same section. The only difference is we've got a couple of obstacles to deal with. You can shoot them, or you can just let the APC hit them. As long as you stay out of the way, you won't get hit as well. Just keep plowing our way through and just keep on shooting. There's the end. We've rescued Newt. And then we don't see Newt again for the rest of the game. Which is quite weird, but it is what it is. We should just carry on. Just watch out for these aliens. So you can get caught up by them, which is a tad annoying. I always like just to stay here for a little second, because they just keep respawning. Eventually they'll stop, but it's a good place to just farm on a couple of points. And that always used to jump scare me whenever I played this. It did the very first time it did. It gave me quite a fright because I was not expecting it. You got these boxes then that churn out facehuggers. You can also use them to farm points. You do come across them a couple of times on this level. And now we got a little matter of a sub-boss again. And this guy is absolutely annoying, because there's two versions of this boss. You fight this one now, which is quite straightforward if you've got the flamethrower. And then there's another version of it at the end of one of the later levels, and it can be very, very tricky. But that one's always straightforward. It doesn't have a lot of health, so it's very easy to deal with. Just gotta be a little careful here, because they will come through the windows, and they always drop chest bursters when you kill them. So As long as you just use crouching shots, you'll be fine. And the one key difference as well, and this is the advantage with the flamethrower, there are a lot of times where you don't necessarily need to use crouching shots, as the flamethrower will still kill some low enemies, I suppose you could call it. So it does have a big advantage. If I was using just the base weapon there, I would have to use crouching shot a lot more. The flamethrower does have a big advantage over the other weapons that it can do that. So it just means you can keep moving at the same speed, because obviously when you're crouching, you do move slower. But I always tend to use crouching shots a lot anyway, especially coming through the vents. It's just a, not necessarily a habit, but just a rule of thumb that I always use. Because even though you're in a vent, you're still quite low down anyway, crouching shots are always essential, because the normal shots sometimes go over the top anyway. So weapon power up. Oh, I get caught with that lightning there. I thought there would have been some energy by you. Oh, yes, there is. Just be patient, and then we can grab that. Some more of these boxes. Just take those out. And then we've got another section where you can go across the top or across the bottom. In this instance, I do tend to go on the bottom, because even though you don't get any enemies going across the top on this part, you do get a lot of enemies sometimes that go across the bottom, and they're still there when you get to the end of this section and you need to drop down. So even though you're putting yourself in harm's way more by doing this and going across this way, at least you know you're taking the enemies out and don't have to worry about any being at the end of this little section when you get to the end. I think you do get some facehuggers that go across the top, but that's neither here nor there. Could always be a bit tricky doing that, just avoiding those facehuggers. This is the one tricky part, because you get these little aliens that come through here. They always come in fours, and you got to use crouching shots till they eventually turn big, and then you just got to use normal shots then to actually destroy them. Sometimes you can be lucky, and when they turn big, sometimes one will jump off the screen, and then you only have to deal with 3 of them. Don't think that's going to be the case here. So it's always the case of just keeping your distance as best you can and attack from afar. Always keep on the move. I've just got this little tedious part here on this little walkway. So you've got constant spawning facehuggers here. And then you have an alien that'll jump up there. So it can be a little tricky sometimes to avoid getting caught. And you got some aliens then on the underneath of this grate, but thankfully the bombs will take care of that. Because they will home in on you. So the best bet is to just make a beeline for the ladder. Once again, we still got some of these aliens that have come through the floor. But once we're through this little section here, we'll be at the boss. again, we'll just take our time a little bit because they will keep spawning. Just use crouching shots and you will take care of them. And now it's on to the boss. The key thing to remember here is to just use crouching shots whenever it's in the middle, as it will do this lightning attack like there. You can avoid it just by doing crouching, but the rest of the time you can just use normal shots. It doesn't matter which one you kill first, whether it's left or whether it's right. So we'll then move on to a second phase. Where it'll just start shooting these things at you, which you've got to try and avoid. If you just keep using crouching shots here to do damage on it. And there you go, done. And we've now made it to the alien nest. So naturally, all we're going to encounter here is eggs. And the occasional flying mutant piranha. Just take these out. Can be a little case of taking your time a little bit coming through this level. Just because you've only got the base weapon and the eggs do take a lot of shots to actually destroy. So I just want to keep taking the eggs out first, then eventually get to the weapon power up. Just let that cycle through to the flamethrower, and then the flamethrower will do a lot more easier work. This is a very short level, because we're at the boss now, and there's only going to be one boss when you're in the nest, and that's the queen. So it's a question of taking those 2 eggs to the left first. If we destroy the ones in front, an alien will just come and bring them back. We just need to focus on the alien's abdomen, as it were. And just keep destroying that. And watch out for the acid that it spits, which every section we destroy. As well as avoiding the eggs that come across the top of the screen, and the odd one that appears behind us. And then I'll shoot those then. There we are, that's the queen dealt with. Now we're on to the penultimate level. Just use crouch shots to take out those, whatever they are. Whatever type of aliens they are. Just take care of these. Crouching shots for these ones. Take some energy as well. Use that bomb just to take care of him. And use the bomb on that one. But we don't have much choice because, unfortunately, the crouching shot also acts as throwing a bomb. Which is a shame because the Japanese version need to press both buttons, and I would have preferred that, so at least we could hold on to the bombs just for a little while longer. But never mind. So now, we're back to another boss battle. And this is probably the most annoying one in the game, for me. Because you got these balls, and you got that. And it'll keep spewing out all the balls you destroy, moving around the screen. So you've got to be a little careful. course, unfortunately, with the flamethrower, you've got to use crouching shots to take the balls out. Unfortunately, we lost a life there, but that's not. It's not the end of the world. It's a question of trying to keep your distance as best you can. Just keep moving. It's the important thing. It's just to always keep moving. And that's him done. We're in the dropship. We've escaped the colony. Final level, final boss. And for those of you who have seen the movie, you know exactly what's coming up here. So, we got a little matter of having to deal with the Queen. So with this, to start the battle, obviously you just got to move forward. And doesn't matter where you are on the screen, the Queen will charge at you straight away. So if you're at the top of the screen or the bottom of the screen, you can easily move up or down to avoid that charge. And there's a power loader there waiting for you, so you can just grab that and then just start the battle. You could just use shots, but it does take a long time because the Queen has a ton of health. So it's just a lot easier to use the power loader. It's just a question of doing as much damage as you can till the airlock opens, and then we can deposit of the Queen. And you could do it the same way if you were just using your gun and shooting the Queen. But obviously, because with the health that the Queen has, it does take longer. And sometimes it would be safer because you only have so much room to move. Because you've only got like almost half the screen to deal with. You could keep a safe distance if you were shooting, but it doesn't always work. Especially with some of the attacks that the Queen has, because it does use its tail. It does have a charge attack. It does also do an attack which it projects an image of itself, just shoots itself at you, and it also of course spits acid at you. But we are getting there. There we go, that's the airlock open. I'm just gonna wait for the Queen to get facing the airlock here. And then we just gotta grab it. There we go, just gotta keep hammering the button. And there we go. And that's the Queen dealt with. And there we are. That's it. That's Aliens. Being on one credit. And I do always like the typo they got on this little bit. It said the last of their flung. So there's slight missing of a word there. But that's Aliens. Like as I say, if you know what you're doing, you can blitz through this. It's a very, it's such an entertaining game. It's one I'll always keep going back to. And then there's a little added challenge then, because once the credits are finished, the game starts again. There's actually another loop. But with Konami, they ramped up the difficulty. Because even with your powered up weapons, it takes more shots to kill the enemies. So it can be a little bit tricky, especially when we're on our final life. So I'll just go through just to show you guys, because it's not exactly the same, because the enemies are a bit smarter because they actually change directions more. And some of them will actually take more hits to kill. And they're also faster. So it is a you've got to be a bit more aware and more ready. Also keep your distance a little bit more too. So that's our first section done. The facehuggers are exactly the same. Boss, however, isn't. It is the same for this section, but when it comes to the second phase, the projectiles shoot a little bit differently. So they are a bit more difficult to avoid. But as you can see, they change direction. They don't just fire straight at you. So it can catch you out if you're not aware. And to be honest, I can never remember because I don't normally play a second loop. I just play the first one. But I just wanted to show you guys what the differences are. And it's the same with this as well. The aliens take a lot more hits. And the only problem as well is you literally got to hammer the fire button. There's no rapid fire on this section. So I do tend to try and avoid a lot of the aliens just to survive. This is where it gets really difficult. You've really got to take your time through this, because you will get hit by stuff. Okay, well, we've gone through this far. At least now we can get a power-up weapon. But again, you've got to take your time, because with the amount of enemies that come through this little section alone, it's very easy to get overwhelmed, especially if you were rushing. Because they do move faster. Thankfully, it's always the same number of enemies that you encounter on the first loop. But the fact is, they're still there. And of course, we've got the elevator section. And I think there is a version of this where you do get attacked by the bat-like aliens, the ones with wings that we encountered before. Sometimes they show up on this section, but hopefully that won't be the case. I think let's take that one cable. It can be a little tricky to hit those because it's difficult to know where they land. But as long as we take the other ones, we'll be okay. Just reaching the halfway point. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Still got one more attack to deal with from the top. So if we don't get it, we don't get that, then it's game over. Oof. Just survived. Just survived. It's just a power up. Just got caught there, and there was energy there too. But never mind. That was just an example, just to show you guys just the slightly amped up difficulty. I mean, it's not easy, but we still did a 1 credit clear, so that was what the aim was. So I'm more than happy with that. But in a future video, I will show the Japanese version of this, just to show the big differences between this and the Western release. But yeah, but I just want to say thank you just for everyone that's come and watched my little playthrough. As I said, I am going to be doing some more of these with some different games. I'm hoping to do one every week of all different games. And all there is to say is thank you so much for watching, and I hope to catch you guys again soon. Bye for now.
I know that you'll be back.
And just in case you're still there, a reminder to switch off the set.